So I was on my Facebook today, and this girl had, asked me a question of like, how do we move on from our family guilt and the expectations that have been ingrained in us from us feeling like we're not doing enough. I will tell you from my own experience how I've been able to do that. So I was raised by my grandparents, and my mother went missing when I was younger, and my dad came into my life a lot later. He's in my life now, and I love him, but it's just I have a very different perspective. But that allowed me to really have a lot of freedom with like what I do and how I relate to the world and to other people. And I have a very mature perspective on my life as my own. But for a really long time, I wanted to please my grandparents. I wanted the affection of my father and my mother, even though both weren't present in many ways. Um, but I had to really find my identity as a human because I was thrown into the world. You know, when you have grandparents that are older than you, they're 60 years older than you have to do so much on your own. And when your mother's gone, your dad isn't there, you have to find your community in other ways. So the thing is, when you struggle with being good enough or of value, you have to find things that bring you value, other ways that you have value. In finding your own activities, finding new experiences that bring you joy. And the thing is that when you understand, first of all, that you're created by a bigger being than yourself, and we are beings of energy and light, and that our energy is never taken from us, then the aspect of being good enough that question is not something that really translates to you anymore, because you're always doing things to change your life and to be as radiant as you can be. And there's no real answer to that. There's no wrong answer. There's no correct answer. But the answer is to just keep going and to keep trying. And to know that being good enough, and the expectations from your family or the people around you, those expectations are not natural expectations because of the fact that you were created by a being that made you a beautiful being, an energetic being of light. And you find this energy source of like creating a life that's beautiful by experiencing new things outside of the places of guilt and shame that you might have had. For me, I was in a church that was very oppressive, and I was with a family that was super traumatized and had a lot of mental health issues. So what did I have to do? I had to go out and find new experiences and meet with new people and be hyper aware of the fact that when I'm starting to feel like, oh, I'm not doing good enough, that situation, either I have to address my own issues or find a new situation where I do feel like I'm good enough. And when you're in situations where you are vibrating really high and you are experiencing love and exuberance and joy and all these emotions, which you find that through people that you love and through things that you love. For me, it was through my Zumba community. For me, it was through my really good friends that I met that were not religious and oppressive. When you find those people, hold on to them. And that eradicates your feelings of guilt or shame that you might have felt from your family or from your community. Because now you have a new community to look to, and you have to challenge your thoughts. And your thoughts will naturally be challenged when you're faced with new people that show you that there's a different way to look at life, and that love is infinite, and that people should be loving towards you, and that you should have good people that are loving towards you. So these feelings of shame or guilt that came from your community, and how you start to feel better and stop thinking, am I good enough? Am I doing this right? Acknowledging that there is something bigger than you, creator, God, universe, whatever, that created you to be a beautiful source of light, but also making it more tangible by having good people in your life and creating amazing experiences that help you through these times of, am I doing good enough? Because you need to be around people that eradicate those feelings of, are you good enough? You need to be around people who are like, yes, you're doing great. Yes, there are ways that you can improve, but like, we're all doing this together, and like, I'm still gonna love you. Because those feelings of guilt or shame and not good enough, they're not a basis for love. They're a basis for fear. So another thing that you have to address is like, you have to come to a point in your life of addressing your own fear, addressing your parents' fear, addressing like the generational trauma of that, knowing that there is guilt and shame in many family units and many communities where you originated from, and knowing that you can create a new story outside of that. And that comes from, like I said, meeting new people who tell you are good enough, having new experiences where you excel and you build your self-confidence. That takes time, but also like through prayer and meditation and intentional effort, having faith that the action of finding new people that are going to tell you you're good enough and that are going to help you out, that's going to come. So that is how you really change your perspective of like feeling like you're not good enough. Because the times that I start to feel triggered by this is when I go back into spaces where I'm around people that tell me I'm not good enough, or that have this energy of like they all don't feel good enough. So I have to remove myself from them, even if I've known them for many, many years and I've loved them and I care for them. But that's why I left Seventh-day Adventism and like the church in Chicago. That's why I don't talk to many family members and friends I used to have, because they couldn't understand that I'm a divine being who struggles with the same emotions, but that I don't hold myself in places of shame or guilt. And when I do, I'm not coming from the best mentality, like my depression is kicking in and that I just need help, But people who love you and that have created this story about you that they're going to love you unconditionally because love and energy is infinite, those people are the ones that are going to rewrite your story. And even if you lose those people, you still have the memories that have come into your brain of like, wow, I have these great people in my life that contribute to me feeling better and don't hold me to shame or guilt or making me feel like I have to keep doing to please them. Because working for love is conditional love. You want people in your life who are going to love you unconditionally and that challenge you, but also like make you feel better. So that's very important. And I think that's an answer to the question that this girl had given me, But there are lots of resources, like you should read books, read podcasts, meditate, pray, do the work, but find people that radiate this positive energy and don't be repulsed by it because you feel like you're not going to be good enough. Just keep finding people. It took me like a year and a half after I left Seventh-day Adventism, and now it's, I started in 2015 when I really started changing. And now it's 2022, 7 years later. Like, my communities are very strong, and I don't feel guilt or shame in the ways I used to. And I'm able to identify when I start to feel them because energetically I feel depleted. So when it comes to your family specifically, the feelings of shame or guilt that come from them, you have to create a space where you can love people from a distance, and especially if you're an adult, make your own decisions to move on. So that's all I will share today, because I know a lot of people struggle with shame or guilt when it comes to their family unit. They can say it's a community or a certain people, like a mother and a father, or a mother and a mother, or a mother and dad, or whatever orientation your parents were. But like, you have to kind of find your own way as an adult and understand that you don't have to answer to anybody once you're an adult. You can create new communities, and that there are new communities out there, and that you're a person of positive energy and light, and you need to find that. And having those experiences all the time and making them a goal in your life, maybe once a week or twice a week or a few times a week, that will make it so that all the experiences that you had that are negative, they're full of, fear, shame, guilt, envy, jealousy. Like, you will be better because you have new people in your life that understand you and that you have these new experiences to look forward to. So intentional acts of self-love, and time and finding new people will help you with your family issues, will help you with these feelings that you've been, accustomed to by family trauma or by people around you that don't radiate at a high level and they're not intentional, and that live in fear, because shame, guilt, all these emotions negatively are fear. Finding these new pathways that you create in your mind and creating new neural pathways through intention, through habits like the 21-day habit of like trying something for 21 days or a certain amount of time, will help you to create a new and better life and will eradicate those feelings of shame or guilt. They'll go away. So go towards love, not towards fear. So if someone or something, even if it's your family member, makes you feel a certain way, you have to go away from them. In time, if they love you, they will learn to navigate your new path. But you have to have people in your life, even if it's not your family or the people that you grew up with, that are going to love you as you are. So that's all I will say in regards to this question.